You're not crazy, and you're not lazy. And no, constant cravings, exhausting workouts, and hating the mirror is not your forever, especially not after 40, no matter what they've told you. Body freedom is stable energy, balanced hormones, eating carbs without fear of gaining weight, and feeling great naked. And that's exactly where this podcast is taking you. Welcome to the Body Freedom Podcast, where we dig into all things women's health and give you the real actionable tools to claim body freedom for yourself. Follow the show and leave a 5-star rating. It's how more women find us. When did one glass of wine start costing you an entire night's sleep? I don't mean a bottle, not like a big night out or anything like that. Just one glass with dinner on a Tuesday night. And then you're all of a sudden awake at 3 a.m., heart pounding, sheets are wet, staring at the ceiling, doing the thing where you count how many hours you have before your alarm. I didn't used to do that. You drank the same wine at 32. You slept like a rock. You got up. You went to work. You didn't even think about it once. Nothing changed about the wine. A few days ago, a woman came to me in my Instagram DMs. We'll call her Renee. She was not being casual about it at all. She was typing in all capital letters at 11 o'clock at night. And this is exactly what she said. Michele, I don't understand it. I am doing everything right. I ate salad for lunch. I walked 10,000 steps. I drank my water. And last night at 6:30, I sat on my couch and had exactly one glass of Pinot Noir, chef's kiss, one glass, not a bottle, one. And I woke up at 3:15 this morning with my heart pounding out of my chest, sheets soaked. I had to change my pajamas, anxiety through the roof, and I never got back to sleep. And then I stepped on the scale this morning, which was a mistake. I'm going to tell you right now, it was a mistake. And I am up 5 fucking pounds, all exclamation marks. 5 pounds from one glass of wine. I feel like my body has turned on me and I don't know what to do anymore. Have you ever been there? I have. Standing in your bathroom, staring down at a piece of plastic on the floor, looking at a number that makes no sense based on anything you ate the day before, stepping off, waiting a second, stepping back on to see if it'll say something different. It doesn't say anything different. I read Renee's message and I knew exactly what was happening because I get some version of that every single week in my DMs or my email. And by the way, if you're listening to this in your car right now and you just went quiet, that's fine. That's probably most of you, and it was me at one point also. Renee is the rule. I could show you 40 messages saying almost the exact same thing in the exact capital letters sent at the same hour of the night. So let's talk about what's actually happening to her between 6:30 at night and 3:15 in the morning, because it is not what she thinks it is. And once you understand it, you're never going to look at that decision the same way again. The first thing I want to do is go back to 6:30, because the 3 a.m. version of this story is not the interesting part. The 6:30 version is. You know that hour. The workday is technically over and your second shift is starting. Somebody needs picking up. Somebody needs feeding. There's a text from your sister about your mother's appointment next week, and there's an email that you should have answered, but you haven't yet. You've made 400 small decisions since you woke up and your brain is fried. And you walk into the kitchen and you open the fridge and that bottle doesn't look like a drink. It looks like a door. And your brain starts talking to you in a reasonable, soothing, extremely persuasive voice. Look at what you did today. You held it all together. You showed up for everybody. It's one glass. It'll take the edge off. It'll help you relax. You have earned this. Then there's a second voice running underneath, a little quieter, and it's saying, okay, but if I have it now, I'm going to be up at 3. And what do I actually have to do tomorrow? Is it worth it? You're standing there with the fridge door open, holding a bottle, having a whole conversation in your head. You didn't used to do that. So you pour it and you sit down, and for about 20 minutes, it works. There's a warm wave and your shoulders come down off your ears for the first time since 7 o'clock this morning. And then the clock hits 3 a.m. Eyes open, heart going, sheets damp, brain running at full speed, cataloging every mistake you've ever made since 2012. And underneath it, that low, ugly hum of shame telling you that you did this to yourself. And you lay there and you make the promise, tomorrow I'll be better. Tomorrow I'll cut it out. Tomorrow I'll be strict. No more wine, no sugar, no bread. I'll live on air and ice water. And you won't, of course. You know you won't. You have made that exact promise 100 times at 3 in the morning, or maybe on a Sunday. I'll start Monday. And it has never once survived past Thursday. Not because you're weak, because a promise made in the dark by an exhausted, panicking woman is not a plan. It's a bargain with yourself that you have no intention of honoring, and some part of you knows it before your head hits the pillow again. Here's what I want you to notice about that whole sequence. The question you're asking yourself every time is, how do I stop drinking wine at night? And that's the wrong question that you need to stop asking, because it's what's kept you stuck for years. The right question is, why does my body want it at 5 o'clock? Because it's 5 every time. It's not random and it's not weakness. It shows up on schedule like a bill, and things that show up on schedule have a reason. Now, hear me on this part, because I want to be very clear about who I am. I am not here to tell you that you can never have a drink of wine again. I am not the food police. I am not a practitioner who thinks you should live on grilled chicken and steamed broccoli and call that health. I flat out refuse to watch other women spend their 40s and 50s feeling guilty or restricted or saying no to every dinner and every trip and every celebration because she's terrified of a carb, or in this case, a glass of wine. That is not health. That is a life sentence, and I won't help you serve it. So let's talk about what your body actually does with that one glass of wine. Alcohol is not a food. It's not a nutrient. Your body has nowhere to put it. So the second it hits your system, your body makes one call, and the call is this: threat. Your body has exactly one response to this threat: fight or flight. Heart rate up, cortisol up, blood sugar swinging, your nervous system flips into survival mode, and it stays there for hours, long after you fell asleep, long after you thought the night was over. And the body in fight or flight does not do maintenance. It does not burn fat, does not clear estrogen, it does not build muscle, it does not drop you into deep sleep. It holds onto water and it parks fat right around your midsection, because that is precisely what a body under threat is designed to do. It is not malfunctioning. It is doing its job perfectly. As much as you hate it, it's based on the information you just gave it. So Renee's 5 pounds, that is not 5 pounds of fat. You cannot eat 5 pounds of fat out of a glass of Pinot Noir. That is 5 pounds of stressed out body holding water and inflammation because it spent the entire night in survival mode instead of repair mode. Your body wasn't sleeping. It was actually working. And this is the piece that costs you the most, because it isn't the night, it's the day after. Alcohol will absolutely put you to sleep. That part is true. And it's why you believe it helps you, but it does not keep you asleep, and it does not let you sleep well. You lose your deep sleep, which is when your body actually repairs tissues and regulates your hormones. You lose your REM sleep, which is when your brain files everything away and resets your mood for a great day ahead. Your heart rate stays elevated all night long. So you were unconscious, but you were not restored. And only one of those counts towards metabolic health. And then you wake up in the body that never finished its shift. Hunger signals are scrambled, cravings through the roof by 10 a.m., blood sugar is on a roller coaster all day, patience gone by 2 p.m., workout canceled because of course it is, you're exhausted. Which means the real cost of that glass is almost never the glass. It's every decision you make the next day inside a body that never recovered. Now, here's why this costs you so much more after 40 than it did at 30. And I want to say this clearly because I think you've been carrying it as a personal failure. You have been playing a game you cannot win because nobody ever handed you the rule book. Nobody sat you down at 40 and told you the rules changed. You kept playing by the old ones and kept losing and assumed the problem was you. And I am so fucking tired of watching capable, intelligent, hardworking women in their 40s get handed this eat less and move more like it's a prescription. You have been eating less. You have been moving more. You have been doing it for 20 years and it stopped working 3 years ago. And instead of anyone asking why, you got told to try harder. You don't need to try harder. You've never needed to try harder. That is not and never has been your problem. You want to think about your metabolism as a bank account. Everything you do is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Sleep, protein, muscle, hydration, the walk after dinner, all deposits. Wine, a late night, a brutal week, skipped meals, they're all withdrawals. And your bank account balance is your capacity. It's how much your body can absorb before it starts charging you fees. Your symptoms are the fees. 3:15 in the morning is an overdraft notice, and that's all it is. And in perimenopause, one very specific thing happens to that account that nobody warns you about. Your income changed. Estrogen was working for you for 30 years, quietly, in the background, for free. It helped regulate your blood sugar, your stress response, your sleep, your temperature, your muscle mass, and now it's dropping. And it's not dropping in a nice, smooth line. It's dropping like a stock chart in a bad quarter, up and down, off the cliff, back up again. So your cost of living just went through the roof and your income stayed flat. Your margins are gone. That is the entire story of midlife metabolism in one sentence. Same woman, same wine, different margins. So when your account is already in the red, when you're running on 4 hours of broken sleep and skipped meals and a stress load that you've stopped noticing, that glass of wine isn't a little reward. It's swiping a high interest credit card for a designer handbag when your checking account is overdrawn and you're already behind on the mortgage. You can absolutely do it. The card will go through, but something inside you is going to cover that charge, and it's going to cover it at 3 in the morning. Look, I'm glad somebody told you this was just a part of getting older, but just get used to it. That's not a diagnosis or a treatment. It's a shrug. And you didn't fail some plan. The plan was written for a body you no longer have. We all don't have it. And the entire diet industry has the goal backwards. The goal is not to stop spending money. Nobody wants a life where they can never buy anything. That's not wealth. That's fear with a spreadsheet. The goal is to get rich enough to afford it, to build a body so flush that it takes a glass of wine on a Saturday, clears it while you sleep, and hands you back Sunday where you feel fantastic. That's flexibility, and you cannot restrict your way to flexibility. So the real question isn't whether wine is bad, it's whether you can afford it tonight. And I'm going to give you the exact tool to use to answer that today in about 60 seconds. That tool is called the bank check. 4 letters. You run it when you stand in front of your fridge right before your hand ever touches that bottle, and it takes you about 90 seconds. You do not need me in the room. You do not need a lab. All you need is 90 seconds and the willingness to be honest with yourself. So let's go through it. The bank check. B is for baseline season. So stop looking at your body through this keyhole. This is not about what you ate today. It's not about whether or not you were good this week. That is the smallest, least useful frame you could possibly use. And it's one that diet culture trained you to live inside. Save calories for the weekend, save calories for the evening, eat as little as you can today, save them for later. I want you to zoom all the way out and ask what the actual climate of your metabolism is right now. Are you in a season where you're sleeping deeply, your energy holds steady all day from morning to night, your digestion is smooth, your body bounces back from a hard week, your libido is on 10? That is a wealthy season. Your account is flush. Are you in a season where you're redlining just to stay upright, where you're running on caffeine and adrenaline and sheer force of will, and you have been for a while? That's a bankrupt season, and it changes the math on everything. And here's the problem. Most of you have no idea which season you're in because you've been guessing for years. You've been going on how you feel on a Tuesday, which is not data. That's just a mood. You've told yourself it's perimenopause. You've told yourself this is just a part of getting older. You've accepted this. You've resigned to the idea. But here it is. Stop guessing. Pull up the show notes on this episode right now and take my free metabolism quiz. It takes about 3 minutes, and it actually gives you an actual score, a real read on where your account, your bank account, your metabolic wealth account is standing today instead of a vibe you formed in the bathroom mirror. That's your baseline. You cannot run the rest of this tool without it, and you cannot fix a number that you've never looked at. Back to bank check. A is for audit. Audit the symptoms. Your body does not lie to you. It leaves receipts. So let's read them. 5 questions. Answer them honestly right now in your car or in your kitchen or wherever you are. 1, are you waking up between 2 and 4 in the morning? At all. Doesn't even need to mean that your heart is racing or that your sheets are damp or that you're laying there for an hour. Do you wake up between 2 and 4 in the morning most nights? Number 2, is there belly fat that showed up in the last few years that will not budge no matter what you do, and it has no relationship to how little or how clean you're eating. 3, do you hit a wall around 3 in the afternoon so hard that you need sugar or caffeine just to get to dinner? Maybe not sugar in the sense that you need a cookie, but you need a snack. You need something that's going to take you to dinner. 4, are you bloated by 6 p.m.? Uncomfortable in your own waistband, wearing the stretchy pants because the other ones just aren't happening today. 5, are you snapping at the people you love the most for no reason and you cannot actually name and then feel terrible about it an hour later? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, the audit is done. The data is in. And stop bullshitting yourself about it because you already knew the answer before I finished the list. You've known for years. You just hadn't heard anyone say it out loud yet. You are withdrawn. Your account is running on empty and your body does not currently have the capital to process a luxury transaction like alcohol without charging you for it. And I want to say the thing you've been waiting for somebody to say. Your body isn't broken. And it's not defective and it's not betraying you. You're not just getting older. This isn't perimenopause. You're overdrawn. And overdrawn is a completely different problem than and comes with a really simple fix. Because every one of these yeses is pointing at something specific. Waking at 3 is your sleep. That's core step number 2 of my core steps to body freedom. Sleep like it's your job. And right now, that's not happening. Belly fat that won't move and the 3 o'clock wall are almost always the same problem. And it's step 1, eat for your results. Are you under fueling all day long and wondering why your body is hoarding? Are you on a sugar roller coaster all day? Very common in perimenopause. Snapping at everyone is step 4, stress reduction. And it means your nervous system has had no off switch for a very long time. Bloating by dinner is step 6. Target the root cause because that is a signal. Bloating is a signal. It's not a personality trait and it deserves an actual investigation. Now, what if you answered no to all 5? If your sleep is deep and unbroken, if your energy holds steady from morning to night without caffeine propping it up, if your digestion is smooth, having complete bowel movements with no effort, and your waistline feels the same at 8 p.m. as it did at 8 a.m., then you are in the wealthy season, my friend. Your account is flush. You have built real metabolic flexibility and your body can absorb that glass of wine. Clear it while you sleep and hand you back Sunday morning without charging you a damn thing. Now, that's not a lecture. That's just the balance. And it's the whole reason I don't tell someone to quit drinking forever. Some of you can afford it now. Most of you, maybe not. The tool tells you which. That's what the audit does. It doesn't just tell you that you're overdrawn. It tells you which account is empty. Back to bank check. N. N is for nutrient assets. Now, look at your ledger. Yeah, I'm bringing you back to the 1920s. Look at your ledger. Over the last few weeks, not today, weeks, have you actually been investing in your body or have you been draining it? Have you been eating real animal protein at every meal, enough to hold your blood sugar and protect the muscle that you have left? Or have you been running on fasting and trying this diet and that diet and coffee first thing in the morning, no sunlight, and calling it intermittent fasting? Have you been strength training, building the one asset that appreciates you as age? Or has it been 6 months since you picked up anything heavier than a grocery bag? Because if the assets aren't in the account, you cannot draw cash out. That's not moral failing. That's just arithmetic. Ladies, come on. If you are financially literate, let's get you metabolically literate too. And this is where women lie to themselves the most, not out loud, quietly. You think about the one good week you had in March, you count the intention instead of the actual deposit. Your body doesn't count intentions. It counts what landed in the account. So look at the last 14 days honestly. And if the answer is that you've been running on empty and calling it discipline, that's your balance. And listen, that's a great magnesium you're taking. It's a great magnesium to be taking while you're sleeping 4 hours a night and eating 1,200 calories. Supplements, back to the bank check. K is for know your balance. This is the part that matters the most. And it's the part nobody else is going to say to you. So fuck it. I am a grown woman. You are a grown woman also. If you run the bank check and every light is red, and you look at the bottle and you think, you know what? I don't care. I want the glass of wine anyway. I am not going to stop you. I'm not your mother. I'm certainly not going to lecture you. just have the fucking glass of wine then. And I mean that. Pour it, enjoy it. I'm not going to make you feel small over a beverage. And any practitioner who does is running a control operation, not a health practice. But if you make that transaction and you have that glass of wine, then you also have to know your balance. You have to be able to look at that glass and say out loud, if you need to, I am consciously choosing to overdraw an empty account. I'm putting this on a credit card I can't pay off this month. And that means when 3:15 hits and you're awake and your heart is going and the sheets are damp and the scale is up 5 pounds tomorrow morning, you don't get to be shocked. You don't get to be angry. You don't get to be angry at your body. You don't get to blame your health coach. You don't get to throw your hands up and say your metabolism is broken and I don't know why it keeps happening. You know why. You choose the debt. And I know that that sounds harsh, but I want you to notice what it actually does. It takes the guilt out completely. You are not bad. Your choice was not bad. You did not fail some random test. You made a transaction with full information the way any adult does. You're not a bad person who drank some wine. You are a business owner who made a financial decision with the numbers in front of her. And that's the difference between being a helpless victim of midlife weight gain and being the CEO of your own body. Victims get blindsided at 3 a.m. CEOs read the balance sheet first and then decide. And most nights, once you can actually see the number, you'll decide differently, not because you're being good or disciplined or you have more willpower, because you don't want to pay that much for a Tuesday. So what do you do if the audit came back in the red? You stop spending money you haven't saved yet. That's it. That's the whole instruction, because you do not have to give up dinners out, skip every trip, white knuckle your joyless protocol for the rest of your life in order to lose weight and feel incredible in perimenopause. That's a story sold to you by an industry that makes millions off of your confusion. My entire job is helping women stop dieting and start building metabolic wealth so you can take your life back, which means you've entered the accumulation season. That's a real thing with a real timeline. And I'm going to be straight with you about what it takes. 3 to 6 months of targeted strategic rebuilding to genuinely refill a bankrupt account in midlife. My 90-day metabolism reset is the intensive front end of that. And the part where we stop the bleeding of money fast and get that account back into the black. And here's what the 90-day metabolism reset program is not. It's not a cleanse. It's not a quick fix. It's not white knuckle your way through a 6-week protocol and then be right back where you started. I love that you cut the wine for a month last year and then you put it back into the exact same body with the exact same sleep and the exact same protein and the exact same stress and got the exact same result. An accumulation season is deposit after deposit every day in a specific order. Step 1, eat for your results. Enough protein, enough food at the right time so your body stops running on emergency fuel and starts trusting you again. Step 2, sleep like it's your job. Oh my God, even saying it feels good. Not a nice to have nap. The single highest yield deposit available to you, and it is totally free. Step 3, move with intention. Build muscle, ladies. It is your only asset in the entire system that appreciates over and over. And the reason one woman can have a glass of wine and hike up a mountain the next morning while another is destroyed by half a glass. Step 4, stress reduction, because you cannot out-supplement a nervous system that has been running in emergency mode since 2019. You need to continue to make deposits until the balance changes, and it does change. And what a beautiful place to be. I have watched it change in hundreds of women, most of whom were absolutely convinced that they were the exception and nothing would work for them. And it does not feel dramatic while it's happening. There's no lightning bolt result. It's that one Tuesday you notice you slept through the night and it didn't register as an event until lunchtime. Then your waistband is comfortable at 6 p.m. Then you get through a hard week without needing to switch your brain off at the end of the day. All of a sudden your bloating stops. You're having great bowel movements and the number on the scale continues to drop. That's what accumulation looks like from the inside. Kind of quiet, boring, and completely life-changing in retrospect. So let me tell you what's on the other side of that season, because this is what you're actually looking for. It's Saturday. About a year from now, you're out somebody's birthday party, because there's always somebody's birthday party, right? And the waiter comes around and you order the glass of wine and you don't run a single calculation in the parking lot on the way in. You have it. You enjoy every sip. You stay till the end of the night, and you stay because you want to, not because you're proving a point to anyone. You go home, you sleep straight through the most glorious night, and you wake up at 6:30 on Sunday morning and you feel like yourself. You get up and go for a walk. You make breakfast. Your rings still fit. Nobody is standing on a scale trying to make sense of a number. The wine was never the story. The night was, and so was the morning after it. That is body freedom. It was never about the glass. It's about having a body that you get to live inside instead of one that you have to manage your whole life. So here's your one step. And it's not the wine. Go to the show notes, take my metabolism quiz tonight before you talk yourself out of it. 3 minutes, find out whether you're in a wealthy season or a bankrupt one, so that the next time you're standing in that fridge, you're making a decision with the numbers in front of you instead of a feeling. Then tonight, before you open that refrigerator door, run the bank check. Look at your season, audit your symptoms, count your assets, and above everything else, know your balance. Who do you want to be 6 months from now? Who do you want to be a year from now? Is that one choice serving that goal? You are a grown woman and you get to choose whatever it is you want to choose, but you're listening to my podcast for a reason. I'm Michele Scarlet. Run the bank check, know your balance, and go get your body freedom back. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Body Freedom Podcast. And remember, body freedom isn't a fantasy reserved for women in their 20s. It's stable energy, balanced hormones, eating carbs without fear, and feeling great naked at 40, at 50, at any age. And every episode is walking you one step closer. Before you go, if you're not sure what's actually blocking your body freedom, take my free metabolism quiz. In just a couple of minutes, you'll find out exactly what's going on with your metabolism and what to do about it. The link is in the show notes. And if today gave you even one shift, tap follow and leave a 5-star review. It's genuinely how more women find this show and start claiming body freedom for themselves. I'll see you next week.